History is supposed to explain things. That's the deal. Events happen, records get written, and questions get closed. Except, sometimes they don't. Sometimes the evidence survives. But the explanation doesn't. And that's when history gets uncomfortable. Not mysterious, incomplete. These aren't fairy tales. They're documented, measured, and still unresolved. Meaning the past isn't finished with us. Some questions don't age out. They just wait. If you value history told this way, careful, documented, unfinished, support the channel, like the video, subscribe to Fact Story History, and if one of these stories stuck with you, leave a comment. That's how this channel grows. Number 10. The Phaistos Disc, discovered in 1908 on the island of Crete. It dates back to roughly 1700 BCE, and it should not exist, not in the way it does. The disc contains 241 symbols, stamped, not carved, meaning they were mass-produced. That implies a system we have never seen again. Over a century later, no one has translated it. Not partially, not convincingly. Some say it's a religious text, others say a calendar, or even a medical record. None can be proven, because there's nothing like it. No companion texts, no known language match, which raises an uncomfortable possibility that an entire system of knowledge appeared and vanished without leaving instructions. History didn't forget this. We just never learned how to read it. Number 9. Kaspar Hauser. In 1828, a teenage boy appeared in Nuremberg, Germany. He could barely speak, barely walk, and knew almost nothing about the world. He claimed he'd spent his entire life locked inside a small cell, fed bread and water, and visited only by a faceless man. Doctors examined him, and here's where it gets real. His body backed up his story. His legs were underdeveloped. He was sensitive to light, and mentally, he was years behind. People didn't know what to make of him. Some thought he was lying. Others thought something darker. That he was royalty, possibly hidden to protect power. Then the attacks started. He was stabbed multiple times, and in 1833, he was found dying. He didn't survive. No attacker was ever confirmed. And to this day, nobody knows who he really was. Number 8. The stone spheres of Costa Rica. They were first uncovered in the 1930s, during large-scale land clearing. And right away, something felt off. These stones are almost perfectly round. Some measure over 6 feet across, and weigh up to 16 tons. That's not light work, especially since no metal tools were used, just stone on stone. And here's where it gets weird. Many were arranged in precise patterns, lines, triangles, alignments. But the meaning is gone. No writings explain them. No carvings. They're dated roughly between 300 and 1500 CE, but no culture claimed them, which leaves experts guessing. Status symbols, astronomy markers, territorial signs. Nothing sticks. And that's the quiet part. They took insane effort to make, and zero effort to explain. Which tells us one thing. Someone thought this was obvious, and we're the ones who don't get it. Number 7. Sacsayhuamán. It sits above the city of Cusco, Peru. And it's been standing there for over 500 years, built during the height of the Inca Empire. And right away, the problem is obvious. These stones don't use mortar. Not even a razor blade fits between them. Some blocks weigh over 100 tons. That's not light work. And the stones weren't sourced nearby. They were moved across rough ground, uphill, without wheels, and without iron tools. Each block is cut with irregular angles, custom fit. One of one? And here's the part that hits hard. These walls survive earthquakes. Structures built later didn't. Modern engineers still study this place, not to romanticize it, but to understand how it's possible. And they don't have a full answer, no written plans, no step-by-step method, just the result. And that's the unsettling part. We see what they built, but not how they pulled it off. Number 6, the Devil's Sea, also called the Dragon's Triangle. It sits off Japan's eastern coast, and for centuries, sailors avoided it. Local legends warned of vanishing ships. But the problem didn't stop with folklore. In the early 1950s, multiple Japanese ships disappeared. No distress calls, no wreckage, no survivors. So the government stepped in. A research vessel was sent to investigate. It never came back. 31 people vanished with it. That's when things got quiet. The area was labeled dangerous, and traffic was redirected. Some explanations were offered. Underwater volcanoes, magnetic anomalies, extreme weather, none explain everything. And here's the part that sticks. The disappearances stopped being public. No updates, no closure. The ocean didn't change. We just stopped asking questions out loud. Number 5, the Mad Gasser of Mattoon. This happened in Mattoon, Illinois, right in the middle of World War II. The first reports came at night. People said a strange gas entered their homes. They felt sick, numb, and unable to move. Within days, more cases followed. Different houses, different people. And witnesses described someone outside, holding what looked like a spray device. Police searched the area and came up empty. No chemicals were ever confirmed, no clear toxin identified. That's when another idea surfaced: mass hysteria. A community on edge, living under wartime stress, watching each other. Then it stopped. No arrest, no confession, no clear explanation. And that's what makes this one stick. If it was hysteria, it felt real enough to ruin lives. Number 4, the Man in the Iron Mask. This story comes from 17th century France, and it starts with a prisoner whose name was never recorded. His face was hidden at all times, sometimes behind a metal mask, and sometimes under strict orders that no one speak to him. He was moved between prisons, always under heavy guard, and always treated with strange respect. He was fed well, given decent clothes, but kept completely isolated. This went on for decades. He never escaped, and when he died, he was buried under a false name. His belongings were destroyed, and records were sealed, which tells us something important. This wasn't about crime. It was about risk. Someone powerful thought his identity couldn't be allowed to exist. No trial, no explanation, just permanent silence. And that's not legend, that's state power. Number 3, the Yonaguni Monument. It lies off the coast of Japan, hidden underwater, and right away, it doesn't look random. The surfaces are flat, the angles are sharp, and the layout feels intentional. This structure is massive, and that's where the debate starts. Some geologists say it's natural, formed by tectonic stress and erosion over time. Other experts don't buy that. They point to cut marks and deliberate symmetry. If it was built, it would date back before recorded history, before known advanced civilizations. And that's the problem. There's no consensus, no final ruling, just arguments backed by evidence. That doesn't line up clean, and the ocean doesn't help. It erases clues and preserves questions? So what are we looking at? A natural formation, or proof that we don't know our own timeline. Number 2, the Baghdad Battery. It was discovered near Baghdad, Iraq, in the 1930s, and it dates back over 2,000 years. At first glance, it looks basic. A clay pot, a copper tube, and an iron rod. That combination matters, because when you add an acidic liquid, it generates electricity, low voltage, but real. This isn't theory, it's been replicated. One explanation says it was used for electroplating, coating objects in gold. But here's the issue. No wires were found, no manuals, no matching tech. Some experts say it wasn't a battery at all, just a container. But that doesn't settle it, because the design still works. Whether it was meant to or not, and that's what's unsettling. Either ancient people understood electricity, or we still don't understand what they were doing. Number 1, the Black Knight satellite. This isn't ancient history. This happens in the modern age. In the middle of the Cold War, US tracking systems detected something unusual, an object orbiting Earth, in a path that didn't make sense. It wasn't on any launch record, and no country claimed it. Then came the signals, long repeating transmissions, initially thought to be foreign, but nothing matched. Later studies suggested something else, that the signals may have been echoes, radio waves bouncing back from space, and that the object was debris, possibly lost equipment. Decades later, photos reignited the debate. A dark shape in orbit. Some called it misidentified material. Others weren't convinced. And here's the part that matters. There was no final answer, no definitive closure, just better guesses over time. And that's what makes this unsettling. Not that it was something unknown, but that even now, we don't fully agree on what we saw. If you value history told this way, careful, documented, unfinished, support the channel, like the video, subscribe to Fact Story History, and if one of these stories stuck with you, leave a comment. That's how this channel grows.